Wait, let me look.
Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2.
Check.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
This is an enormously packed Shabbat, a Shabbaton filled with activity. We started last night, of course, with services, and then Rabbi Coleman and Carly and Bryn and a lot of other people were playing music until very, very late. So we have our Shabbat morning worship, and I'm just going to be here at the very beginning together with Dan Yolis because we're scooting off for a bat mitzvah. That's later on today. So Rabbi Coleman will be taking over with the Torah service. And then after that, there's all kinds of programming. And I don't think you conclude tonight until about, 8:39 with the Havdalah. So it's a packed day that they've put together for this incredible Shabbaton, this Zoomathon, which is quite exciting. So as we have come into the Abrams Chapel, let's turn to page 192 and say we do have wonderful people who are with us, and we can share prayers together and song together. And as we come into a chapel, we say, Ma tovu ohelecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael.
Ma tovu ohelecha Yaakov, ohelecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu ohelecha Yaakov, ohelecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael.
The mask and the microphone, you can only really pick one here. We are going to begin our Shabbat morning worship, page 195, as we offer a blessing for the strength of our bodies. And even when things go wrong, or we're disappointed, or we're frustrated, or we're angry with our bodies, there are also still so many things going right. And so we read together on the top of page 195. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom, you have made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, were one of them to fail, how well we are aware. We would lack the strength to stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength. And from our bodies, Baruch atah Adonai, rofeh chol basar umafli la'asot. I'm just so excited to sing because I love this melody and I've been waiting for it all morning. We think about our bodies and then we think about our souls and the characteristics of them, and that our souls were given to us as pure, which is really the ultimate gift anyone could ask for. So we'll sing Elohai Neshama, page 196.
Elohai neshama, shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama, shenatata bi tehorahi. Ata berata. Ata yitzarta, ata nefachta bi, ata berata. Ata yitzarta, ata nefachta bi, Elohai neshama, shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama, shenatata bi tehorahi.
Page 198, we're all going to rotate our way through up here, through our Nisim Bechol Yom, through our blessings for our daily miracles. Do you want to start?
Yeah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan L'sechvivina l'havchin ben yom uven laila.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who opens the eyes of the blind.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who frees the captive.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokev kefufim.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who lifts up the fallen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokah haaretz al hamayim.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who stretches the earth over the waters.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin mitzadek aver.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who strengthens our steps.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who clothes the naked.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten layaev koach.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who gives strength to the weary.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavir sheina me'einai utnuma me'afapai.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who removes sleep from the eyes and slumber from the eyelids.
At the top of page 202, as we continue, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani b'tselem Elohim.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who made me in the image of God.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani ben chorim.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has made me free.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani Yisrael.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has made me a Jew.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozeh Yisrael begivuram.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who girds Israel with strength.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who crowns Israel with splendor.
And on the following page, page 204, our blessing for Torah study, which is everything we're doing this morning, not just when we formally read out of the Torah. Top of page 204. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to engage with words of Torah. And we'll read on the top of page 205. We seekers of God, how do we find you? In good deeds and in the study of Torah, and your search for us. You find us in the bending of the knee, in the rigor of study, in the honesty of commerce, through a good heart, through decency, in respect, true fellowship, companionship, and love, through truth and peace, in the no that is really no, and the yes that is really yes. Baruch atah Adonai, hamelamed Torah le'amo Yisrael. Page 214, we have Psalm 92, a psalm for Shabbat.
Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov leodot la'Adonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Le'agid b'boker haskasam, ve'emunatcha b'leiot, alei la'asor v'alei navel, alei higayon bechinor. Shabbat, tov leodot la'Adonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon,
Memeshicha
Page 215, we will chant Ashrei responsively. Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha, Ojanelu Chasala.
Ashrei ha'am shekachah lo, Ashrei ha'am sh'Adonai Elohav.
Tehillah leDavid, aromimcha Adonai HaMelech, mi'avarcha shimcha le'olam va'ed.
B'chol yom avarchecha, v'na'al shimcha le'olam va'ed.
Gadol Adonai u'mehulam me'od, v'lig tilato ein cheker.
Dor l'doyer shabbat ma'asecha, u'gvorotecha yagidu.
Hadar kevod hodecha, v'divrei niflotecha asicha.
Ve'zuznotecha yomeru, u'gdalatcha sabrena.
Zecher rav tuvcha yabiu, v'tzidkatcha yiranenu.
Chanun barachom Adonai, erech ha'payim u'gdol chesed.
Tov Adonai lekol, v'rachamav al kol masav.
Yoducha Adonai kol ma'asecha, v'chasedecha yivarucha.
Kevod malchutecha yomeru, guvuratcha yidaberu.
L'chodir b'nei Adam gvorotav, v'chvod Adam malchuto.
Malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'ador.
Somech Adonai l'chol hanoflim, v'zokef l'chol hakafufim.
Einei chol elecha yisaberu, v'atanotin lahem et ochlam bito.
Poteach et yadecha, u'maspir lefocha ratzon.
Tzadik Adonai b'chol drachav, v'chasid b'chol masav.
Karov Adonai l'chol korav, l'chol asher yikrahu v'emet.
Ritzon yireav ya'aseh, ve'et shavatam yishma v'yoshihem.
Shomer Adonai et kol oavav, et kol hashayim yashmim.
Tehillat Adonai yedaber pi, v'yivarech kol bashar shem kodsho le'olam va'ed.
Ve'anachnu nevarech Yah, me'ata v'yad olam. Hallelujah.
I hear the shaky things getting ready. Page 218 for Psalm 150. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, 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 El Bekodsho. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Uzo. Hallelujah, 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 Biburotav. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Kulo. Hallelujah, 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 Keka Shofar. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Nevel Chinor. Hallelujah, 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 Tov Umachor. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Minim Lugav. Hallelujah, hallelujah, B'tzil Tzilei Shama. Hallelujah, hallelujah, B'tzil Tzilei Truah. Kol Neshama Te'aliyah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol Neshama Te'aliyah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Conclude the Veskeda Zimra on page 223 as we say, Baruch Chata Adonai El Melech Gadol Batishbachot El HaHodaot Adon HaNeflaot HaBocher B'Shirei Zimra Melech El Chai HaOlamim. Praised are you, sovereign of wonders, crowned in adoration, delighting in song, eternal majesty. The very next page, 224, the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemid Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divra chirotei v'yamlich malchutei.
B'chayechon v'yomechon u'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'bizman kariv.
V'imeru.
Amen. Yesh merabah mevarach le'olam olam me'almaya yitbarach.
Yitbarak v'yistabach v'yitba'ar v'yitraman v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudusha b'reichu leilan min kol birchata v'shirata
Tushbechata v'nechemata damiram be'almam
v'imeru.
Amen. As we're about to begin the call to worship, I look over and I see a lot of people who in the past have helped us lead the service, reading Torah, Haftarah, sharing prayer, sharing Divrei Torah. I look at Micah Zucker over there, and who will have become a bar mitzvah here at this Shabbat morning worship in another month and a half, 2 months. And so the whole idea of this Shabbat morning minyan is to make sure that everyone knows that they have a voice to share, a spirit to enrich our community, and an opportunity to lead us in worship. So each of you, as you have an opportunity to rise, we're on page 226, think of yourselves as bringing your prayer, your spirit, not only here, but over the magic of the internet, to all kinds of people sitting all over the country as we rise and we sing.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la.
Baruch et Adonai Amevorach. Baruch Adonai Amevorach. Amevorach le'olam va'ed. Amevorach, Amevorach le'olam va'ed. We continue with the Yotzer Or, page 228. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Yotzer Or v'orei choshet, osei shalom v'orei et hakol, hame'ir la'aretz v'ladarim alecha v'rachamim, u'tuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid, ma'aseh v'reshit, ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita, mala ha'aretz kinyanecha, titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, va'al ma'orei or, sha'asita, yifa'aruch ha'sela, or chadash al Tzion ta'ir, v'nizkeh chulanu mehira le'oro, baruch atah Adonai, yotzer ha'ma'orot. And on the next page, how deeply you have loved us, Adonai, our God, gracing us with surpassing compassion, on account of our forebears whose trust led you to teach them the laws of life. Be gracious to us, teaching us as well. 230. O merciful one, have mercy on us by making us able to understand and discern, to heed, learn, and teach, and lovingly to observe, perform, and fulfill all that is in your Torah. V'harereneinu b'toratecha, v'dabek lebeinu b'mitzvotecha, v'yached levaveinu le'ahava u'yirah et shemecha, v'lo nevosh, v'lo nekalem, v'lo nekas
נחבק לבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבינו לאהבה וליראה את שמך. ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד.
שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Please be seated. We continue with the Ve'ahavta, page 234.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אלוהים מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. We continue on page 239 as we read responsively in English. I know it seems like every day we're just taken aback by another senseless act of violence, and one happened just yesterday in my hometown in Indianapolis. And it just, we're just wondering when it stops, not just in our own backyard, but around the world. And so we turn to prayer, but we know that prayer alone is not going to make it happen. It's our will to address the social ills that afflict our world. The eternal truth is that you alone are God, and there is none else.
Richest of all nations, rejoice in your love and exult in your justice.
Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks.
Let nation not lift up sword against nation, nor learn war anymore.
You shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart.
The stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor, asks God.
We know that the Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy.
Praise to God Most High.
Blessed is God and deserving of blessing.
Song of Freedom.
Yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai, yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai lai, ya lai la lai la lai la 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 lai, ya la la lai lai ya la la lai lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh, Nora tehilo rosei bele, Nora tehilo rosei bele. Shira chadasha shebechol geulim, L'shimcha al sfat hayam, Yachad kulam hodu, Ve'imlechu ve'yameru, Adonai Elohim.
According to our minhag and what is traditional, we'll rise up with Tzur Yisrael for our silent Amidah. When everyone is seated, then we'll continue together, collectively, with Avot and Gevorot and Kedusha. For now, will you please rise for the silent Amidah?
Tzur Yisrael, Huma Be'ezrat Yisrael, Uvdechem Umecha, Yehuda V'Yisrael, Go Aleinu Adonai Tzivot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Atah Adonai, God Yisrael.
Yehiyu l'ratson imrefi merefi v'hegon libi lefanecha Yehiyu l'ratson imrefi merefi v'hegon libi lefanecha Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri vegoali, Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri vegoali.
Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avod v'Imachor, ומביא גאולה לבני בניכם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר מושיע מגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה 246 אתה גיבור לעם אדוני מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע מוריד הטל מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר,
מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדור מלך, מלך ממיד ומחיה, ואמת מיית ישוע, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וכזה זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר, אדירנו, אדוני, אדוננו, מה אדיר, שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכנו, ומושיענו וכו ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם. אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד עוד לך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. We're on page 250. And Dan, what is it going to be? Is it going to be Yismechu or Vishamru? I know what this group's always going to vote on.
Should we do Yismechu?
Oh, it's a Vishamru crowd. Come on. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et Hashabam לעשות את השבן לדורותם ברית עולם. שמרו בני ישראל את השבן, לעשות את השבן לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. That worked. Let's continue with a blessing for the Sabbath day. Page 253 in the blue numbers and brackets, we say, we offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh hashabbat. And on page 255, the Ritzeh, we say in Hebrew, Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu ba'amcha Yisrael, Utfilatam ba'ahava tekabel, Utki l'ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha, Baruch ata Adonai she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod, ever-present one. May we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion, restored in all lands. You are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. The Hoda'ah, the prayer of thanksgiving. I love the responsive readings that we have here. And under normal circumstances, we'd go around the room, and each person would have one of the paragraphs and either and read it in their own way, and we'd all say Modim Anachnu Lach. So, but Rabbi Coleman and I will share on behalf of you, because we're all mic'd up, and you guys are masked up. So, Rabbi, why don't you come over here, and I'll scoot over there.
For the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations.
Modim Anachnu Lach.
For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons.
Modim Anachnu Lach.
For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements.
Modim Anachnu Lach. For human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression.
Modim Anachnu Lach.
Your turn.
For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared.
Modim Anachnu Lach. For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom. Modim Anachnu Lach.
For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose.
Modim Anachnu Lach. We say together, we pray
that
we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'el hodot.
And on the following page, page 258, a song of peace, Sim Shalom.
Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Chen V'Chesed,
Rachamim v'rachamim
Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael,
ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, Barchinu Yotzeinu kulanu kechad, ve'or panecha, Ki ve'or panecha natat lanu, Adonai Eloheinu. Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Chen V'Chesed, Rachamim v'rachamim Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, Torah Chaim, ve'ahavat chesed, ve'ahavat chesed, u'tzedaka v'racha v'rachamim, ve'chaim v'shalom. Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Chen V'Chesed, Rachamim v'rachamim Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, v'tov b'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שים שלום, שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד, רחמים ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל ישראל עמך.
Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Israel b'shalom. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace.
Amen.
We are going to turn to page 362 and invite you to rise if you are able for our Torah service.
Ein kamocha ve'elohim Adonai, ve'ein kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, וממשלתך בכל דור
Adonai Melech, Adonai Malach, Adonai Imloch, Le'olam Va'ed, Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitein, Adonai Yivarech et Amo V'Shalom, Ha'arachamim, Heitiva Retzoncha, Etzion, Tivnei Chomot Yerushalayim, Tivnei Chomot Yerushalayim, Ki Becha Levad Batachnu, Melech Eram Benisa, Adon Olamim, Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah, Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah, Udevar Adonai Yerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Lamo Yisrael, B'Kedushato, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Gadol Shemo, Gadol Adonai Iti, Unromama Shemo Yachdav,
Lecha Adonai Hagedula, Behagevura, Tiferet, Behanetzach, Behahon. Ki ho bashamayim uvaret, Ki ho bashamayim uvaret. Lecha Adonai hamamlecha, Yahi nahaseh lechol erosh.
Please be seated. As Dan and Rabbi Ryan's head to the bar mitzvah this morning, we're going to read some Torah in here too. And we are in a double Torah portion this week, which always, this is one of my favorites. It's Tazria Mitzorah. It's two portions put together. And these are the portions that talk about the skin diseases and the leprosy and all of the not so pleasant things. And there's always a joke about having your bar mitzvah for Tazria Mitzorah. If that's your bar mitzvah portion, you had the unlucky draw, right? That this is what you have to talk about. And yet, there's something really fun about the challenge and the opportunity to try and relate something that feels so incredibly far from our lives and how we understand things and how we operate and what we do in our world, and try and relate that into where we are and what we do. I'm trying to find a place for this microphone. And so I was reading something this week. I think I've brought this once or twice before. It's called Unscrolled. It's sort of an alternative kind of Torah commentary. Dee's shaking her head, yes. So we've looked at this before. And I was reading it, and the way that they captured, we're going to read Mitzorah this morning specifically, the way that they captured it made me laugh, and I thought I'd share it with you all this morning. It's this page. It's written as a prescription. So at the top it says prescription. Patient, Mr. Levite. Medication to be collected by Moses, Levite family friend. Condition, patient claims to be suffering from leprosy. Closer examination reveals merely patches of dry skin around the elbows and knees and some flakiness around the nose, probably caused by excessive time recently spent wandering around the wilderness without adequate moisturization. However, patient was insistent on full course of treatment, lest the condition develop into full-blown lesions. Treatment. When the symptoms appear to be improving, gather 2 clean birds, living, cedar wood, something crimson, a sprig of hyssop, slaughter 1 bird and dip the other bird in the blood, cedar, crimson, and hyssop. Sprinkle the blood on the affected area 7 times and set the living bird free. Wash all clothes, shave off hair, take a long bath, and sleep away from home for 7 days. On the 7th day, bathe and shave off all hair, again, including eyebrows and beard. The following day, sacrifice a lamb and put blood and oil on the right ear, right thumb, and right big toe. If insurance policy does not cover the cost of lamb, Medicare turtle doves or pigeons can be used instead. All lambs free of charge in Europe, Canada, and other socialist enclaves. Not to be taken with, the following may exacerbate the condition: idol worship, unchastity, bodily violence, profaning God, blasphemy, robbery, usurping a dignity, overweening pride, evil speech, and casting an evil eye. Haughtiness and general immorality are best avoided too. Long-term side effects. Prolonged obsession with obscure cleansing rituals from 1440 BC onward could lead to endemic hypochondria among future generations and an absurd, though comforting, overrepresentation among medical professionals. This cracked me up this week when I needed a laugh, and I love the way it's taking what in the most respectful of ways we sometimes call it a dry Torah portion, perhaps, and brought some life into it. And what a beautiful model for us that's what we're trying to do, right? We're always trying to look at Torah in a way that expands what we understand and gives us more ways to connect. And joy and humor are welcomed parts of that. So it made me laugh this week. I thought I'd share it with all of you. I've been giggling to myself truly all week. So we are going to read from Metzora. It's in 752 in the Plout commentary, which are, if you're here, are in the back of the room if you'd like to follow along. If you are home, you can go to sefaria.org, S-E-F-A-R-I-A, and we're starting at Leviticus 14 is the chapter. And this is Zoomathon weekend. Last year, we called our Zoomathon the Come Together Zoomathon. This year, it's called Zoomathon Part 2. We were a little less clever. But one of the beautiful things about it last year was we were still so very much quarantined, and the world was still really, really scary. It's still plenty scary, but it was really scary last year. And it did feel like we came together. We saw people, we had a collective activity, and we were so motivated and empowered by it. And so I thought this morning we would do one collective Aliyah, which means if you are watching from home and I'm looking at you right in that camera, I can see you, sort of, in a weird kind of way. You can also be part of this Aliyah. Anybody who would like to have an Aliyah to the Torah, La'alot is to rise up. So we invite you to physically stand or to lift up some part of your soul or being for this Aliyah to the Torah, and we'll all do it from where we are. Whether that's home or that's in your chair here in the Abrams Chapel, this is going to be a community Aliyah as we are together all weekend. Please stay with us all weekend. We'll talk about it later. But as we are together all weekend for Zoomathon, so I invite everyone who would like to participate in this Aliyah to rise at their seat. And we'll all do it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Tamanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai. Amen. I love hearing all the voices. V'diber Adonai Moshe lemor, Zoti Torat HaMetzora b'yom tehorato, v'huva el hakohen, v'yitzei hakohen el michutz lamachane, v'ra'a hakohen, v'hine niraped nega hatzara'at, min hatzaroa. V'tziva hakohen v'lakach v'mitaher shtei tziporim chayot tehorot, v'etz erez v'shnei tola'at v'ezov taher et begadav, v'galach et kol sa'aro, v'rachatz b'mayim v'taher v'achar yavo al hamachane, v'yashev michutz la'ohalo shivat yamim, v'haya b'yom hashvi'i yigaleach et kol sa'aro, et rosho, et zikno, v'et givat enav, v'et kol sa'aro yigaleach, uchves et begadav v'rachatz et basaro b'mayim, v'taher b'yom hashmini yikach shnei kvesim timimim, וכבשה אחת בת שנתה תמימה, ושלושה עשרונים סולת מנחה ולולה, ושמן לג אחד. שמן והעמיד הכהן המטהר את האש, המטהר אותם לפני אדוני פתח אוהל מועד, ולקח הכהן את הכבש אחד, והקריב אותו לאשם, ואת לג השמן, והניף Otam Tnufa Lifnei Adonai. We'll rise again for our closing blessing on a 1, 2, 3. Baruch Notain HaTorah. Amen. Beautiful. Please be seated. We now, if you're on Facebook, we have you now. We're trying to figure out this, do everything at once kind of model. But as we prepare for Misha Berach and to offer this prayer of healing, we want to be able to read the names aloud of those who are on Facebook with us as well. So if you have names of people you are thinking about this Shabbat, please type them to us. I will read them. We are thinking of so many people in our community, and when we feel like we're helpless, prayer is something we can do. Whether or not it's going to heal our physical bodies, that's a different question. But what we know it can do is it can help give us a sense of purpose and something we can do in the face of helplessness. And it can let those who are struggling know that we support them and we're here and we're thinking about them. So this Shabbat, we are praying for Estelle Agrest, Ryan Alpert, Mike Babbage, Stan and Sandra Bauer, Andy Bean, Samantha Bernstein, Steve Bucum, Arlene and Sydney Brandt, Harold Cohen, Joseph Michael Connor, Cindy Coons, Frank and Aaron DeSiena, Marty Einhorn, Ron Epstein, Stan Farber, Harriet Feld, Jack Fisher, Bob Frischman, Morris Ginsberg, Wendy Glasser, Marlene Gettleman, Marcia and Bob Gold, Jeremy Gold, Alan and Erica Gulnick, Lois Haas, Jerry Hart, Miriam Hoopman, Oliver Jack, Stephen Koffler, Arnie Lash, Jerry Lassow, Lori Lavenhar, Fred and Judith Lazar, Audrey Lazar, Adrian Levy, David Levy, Juanita Lorenko, Dina Marks, Marianne May, Hugh Miles, Nivette Montgomery, Diane Cushman-Neal, Raphael Ben-Reuven Ufega, Jane and Sam Potter, Bernie Rogoff, Alan Rosenberg, Donna Santesteven, Diana Savila, John Schuler, Daniel and Callista Schwartz, Raj Schwartz, Norm Shelton, Joshua Singer, Carol Snoddy, Mark Sorkin, Sheldon Sperling, Ed Steinberg, Betty Stone, Helena Stryker, Hal Tabak, Stan Ullman, Yona Victor, Marlene Waldbaum, Valerie Wasserman, Dorothy Wide, Eden Wenig, Jill Wicklins, Jim Wilson, Art Wolfson, Elaine Yaffe, Esther Yankinson, Aidan Zenon, Dr. Julie and Dr. Scott Zibbelman. I'll add from Facebook, Eliza, Hannah, Elliot, Daron, Yoni, Zev, and Ari. Is there anybody praying for someone here? Thank you. We pray in all of their names with Misha Berach, page 372, I believe. Misha Berach avote 371. Mekor habracha bless those in need, may the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our spirit, and let us say, Amen. While the Torah is still out with us, we turn to page 379 for a blessing for a new month. Today is Yom Sheni, the second day of Rosh Chodesh Iyar, the new month of Iyar. So we say, Yehi ratzon mifanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, shetechadesh aleinu et hachodesh haba, l'tova v'livracha, v'titen lanu chaim arukim, chaim shel shalom, chaim shel parnasa, chaim shetihiyeh vanu, ahavat Torah v'yirat shamayim, chaim sheyimalu mishalot libenu l'tova. Amen. Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, and prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longing of our hearts are filled for good. Rosh Chodesh Iyar Yehiyeh B'Yom Shabbat Hu Hayom. The new month of Iyar will begin today on Shabbat. We turn page 368. Where are my pages this morning? It's a crazy day here at Temple Sinai. 370, we rise as we prepare to redress the Torah. Vizot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai bihad Moshe. Yalai lai lai, yalai lai lai lai, yalai lai 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 lai, yalai lai lai. Yai la la la, yai la 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 la, yai la 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 la. Mizot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai bihad Moshe. Please be seated. We have a treat 2 Shabbatot in a row. Next Shabbat, Rabbi Zucker is going to lead our Haftorah, read our Haftorah portion, and lead through the end of our service. Rabbi Ryan says a bar mitzvah, and I won't be here. I'm going away for a weekend, which is wild and crazy. So we have a privilege to hear from Rabbi Zucker next week, and this week, from our own Mr. Markman sitting in the back, he's going to read Haftorah for us this morning.
Shabbat Shalom. This week's Haftorah comes from the second book of Kings, and we can find that on page 765. And the tie-in to this Haftorah, or the tie-in to the Torah portion, is that this Haftorah talks about 4 men who were lepers, who were Mitzorim. And that's the tie-in, and it's an interesting story. If you get a chance, read the English of it. It's an interesting story. So I'll begin with the Torah Blessings that are on, or the Haftorah Blessings that are on page 372 in the Siddur. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'divrehim hanemorim be'emet. Baruch atah habocher b'torah u'Moshe avdo Yisrael amo, uvinaviyei ha'emet v'tzedek. V'arba anashim hayu mitzorim petach hashar v'yomeru ish el rehu ma אנחנו יושבים פה עד מתנו אם אמרנו נבוא העיר והרב בעיר ומתנו שם ואם אם ישבנו פה ועמדנו ואתה לכל ונפלא אל מחנה ארם אם יחיוני נחיה אם ימתונו ועמדנו ויקומו הנפש לבוא אל המחנה ארם ויבואו עד קצה מנחי ארם והנה עמי והנה אין שם מלך ישראל Israel et malchei Achitim ve'et malchei Mitzrayim lavo aleinu vayakunu vayanusu vaneshef va'azvu et Elohim ve'et susehem ve'et hamorehem hamachaneh ka'asher hi v'yanusu al nafsham vayavo hamitzrayim ha'ele ad kesei hamachaneh vayavohu Elohel achar yochlu vishtu vayishu misham kesef zahav uvgadim vayelchu vayat minu vayashvu vayashu vayavohu Elohel achar vayisu misham vayelchu vayitminu vayomeru Ishel rehu lokein anachnu osim hayom hazeh yom basara va'anachnu machshim v'hichkinu ador haboker umsanu avon v'atol lechu nevo v'nagida beit hamelech. And then on the next page, starting with verse 18. Vayehi kedaber Elohim el melech lemor sasim shurim basheko usasolet bashekel yeh ka'ed machar basha'ar shomron vayan hashalish et ish Elohim vayomer v'hinei Adonai Oseh arbot b'shamayim ha'ichyeh kadavar hazeh vayomer inecha roeh be'einecha umishon lo tochel vayehi lo kein vayimsu otom b'shar v'yamot baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam tzur kol olamim tzadik b'chol adorot ha'el hanemon ha'omer v'yoseh המדבר ומקיים שכל דברו ומצוות צדק, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה, שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת, על הכל, אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך, יתברך שמך בפי כל חי, תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen. Yasher Koach. You should know, I called Alan yesterday morning with the craziness of Zoomathon week. I called him yesterday morning and said, would you read Haftorah tomorrow? Thinking he was going to read the English. And then he busts out chanting, which is amazing. I love it. I love the sound of Haftorah. There's nothing that sounds quite the same. It's very soothing to me. I love it. So thank you, Alan. Yasher Koach. We will rise, if you're able, page 374, as we prepare to return the Torah to the Ark. Hodau al haaretz v'shamayim v'yaren keren le'amo tehila lecho chasidav livnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Eitz chaim hi lemachzikim ba v'tomcheha meushar derachei darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom. Shivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Keketem. Aleinu is on page 586. Aleinu l'shapeach latohun hakol latet genula leotzer breshit shelo asanu k'gri aratzot v'lo samanu k'mishpachot adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'nemar ve'ayadonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Please be seated for just a moment. Our thoughts turn to those who've departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. If you're on services from home and you want to type on Facebook if you have any names for Yahrzeit, please do so and I'll get there. This Shabbat, we are in the Shiva for Ellen Falk, the wife of Stuart, mother of John and Ruby and Bubby, to Georgia and Nora. For Faye Greenspan, the sister of Helena and Alan Stryker. And for Mark Levy, the husband of Pearl Ray Quartz Levy. We're in the Shilashim for Dr. Rabbi Michael Cook, for Gerald Getz, father of Randy and Deborah Getz, for Catherine Knezevich, mother of Karen and Brian Kaler, for Larry Vazar, brother-in-law of Sharon and Lee Keene, Dick Morgan, Anthony Morvant, the father of Kim Williams, Darren Kaplan, for Jerry Thaler, the uncle of Lori and John Spanbauer. We're marking Yartzites this Shabbat for Patty Adlin, Eva Altman, Louis Altman, Elsie Applebaum, Robert Bach, Stan Botkin, Bill Branowitzer, Leon Bristowski, Albert Davidson, Lorraine Dryblatt, Linda Dworkin, Jean Eisen, Nate Fink, Ida Fisher, Paul Fisher, Saul Flax, Vera Flaxman, Eva Ginsberg, Ida Ginsberg, Jan Golden, Anna Goodman, Francis Gottlieb, Louis Green, Victor Hoffberg, Alec Hugenberg, Paul Stephen Jacobson, Eleanor Judd, Sadie Kamen, Carol Carpel Gold, Benjamin Keel, Jerry Kahn, Albert W. Lambert, Ruth Levison, Edward Lipman, Gloria Lipson, Herbert G. Lipson, Sherman Markman, Elsa Nachman, Carl Nachman, Joseph Pitter, Hilda Ross, Eugene Roth, Bonnie Rothberg, Phyllis Sagal, Matt Salomon, Sidney Satkin, Bessie Setlow, George Schidler, Ida Silberman, Harry Slosky, Leo Stillman, Wendy Tabachman, Tom Talion, Charles Ullman, Irving Unger, Estelle Waller, Shirley Winehouse, Irene Weinstein, Abner Wilner, Rose Wolgamuth, Hyman Wright, Ben Zeidman, and Rabbi John J. Zucker. Is there any other yard sites? Yeah. Thank you. Jerry Thaler and Terry Waldman Orr. In all of their memories, we rise, page 598 for the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach urte v'amlich malchute, b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ubagala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevorach leolam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudasha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael Bimru Amen. Ose Shalom Bimromav. Huya Ase Shalom. Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael. Bimru Amen. We say Zichronam Livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. Please be seated. Boy, do we have announcements this week. This is our first full day of Zoomathon. We had a little taste last night, and now we're in our first full day. So just the brief snapshots of what we've got going today. We have Humans of Tel Aviv, which is a look into the social fabric of Tel Aviv. We have a cooking class with me. We're making tahini blondies, which are pretty tasty. We have guided painting if you signed up for that. We have Dr. Max Frieder, who's going to come and talk about the way he's using art to connect people. We have a photograph project with Holocaust survivors from Kavod. We have Jason Romero, who's a Denver native, and the first, I think, only blind man to run across the United States. Wild. Very, very cool. We have stories on stage. It's going to be a really cool presentation by them, a little play. Our headliners are Leah and Grant Hamilton. Leah was our soloist this High Holy Days, and her son Grant joined her. They're incredible. I heard them rehearsing this week. Absolutely amazing. And then we'll do Havdalah together, Leah, Grant, and I. Tomorrow, we have all kinds of things, including kids programming in the morning. We have a panel with news professionals and journalists talking about how reporting the news has changed, which I'm really excited for. We have some of our young, talented musicians coming in. We have a tour of the Anne Frank house. We're going to then spend an hour looking at the way that Jews, Jews are portrayed in media right now, looking at some different shows and the ways we're talking about Jewish life. Rabbi Zwerin is going to tour us around the building and look at some of the really cool stuff in these cases that you walk by as you come in and out, and he'll talk about what they actually are and where they came from. I'm really excited to learn all of those things. We've got trivia. We have Rosenberg's Bagels. The founder, Josh Pollack, is going to come and talk about bringing the deli to Denver. We have a really, really wonderful documentary tomorrow called Outramat and the Hasidim about a Montreal, ultra-Orthodox neighborhood in Montreal trying to get along and play nicely with others. Our headliner tomorrow are very, very funny twin comedians, the Stone Brothers. They're going to be wonderful. We can't wait. We have so much coming. On Wednesday, the Zoomathon auction is going to start. It's going to be up for 2+2-ish weeks. If you thought last year's auction was good, this one's better. There's all kinds of really, really wonderful stuff. Our offices are covered with things for the auction. So we are so excited for so much programming to come. So please join us. If you have any questions, you can ask myself or Lisa. Lots to come. Lots to come this weekend. Looking forward to celebrating and being together on Zoom. And in the meantime, we will pause before we continue Zoomathon with Torah study with Rabbi Zwerin, and we'll pause our prayer this morning, closing with a Ozi V'Zimratya line from Exodus, saying that God is the strength you lean on when you don't have anything else. Ozi V'Zimratya Vayehili Lishua Ozi V'Zimratya Vayehili Lishua Ozi V'Zimratya Vayehili Lishua Ozi V'Zimratya Vayehili Lishua Ozi V'Zimratya Vayehili Lishua. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We'll see you on Zoom.